Well, hello everyone. I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and since it's 2026, New Year's Day, I thought this was the day to go ahead and start it. In general, it's going to be a practice log, but why? Why am I starting a practice log? I want to document or have feedback for myself about how my hand is adapting to playing the classical guitar. I injured my hand in 2016 in an accident. I fell off, it's stupid, I fell off of a stand-up paddleboard, and I was really close to a boat. And when I fell, my weight came out like this from under me. The board went like this, and I fell with the full weight of my body. My hand smacked onto the side of the boat. At first, I didn't think too much of it. I got out of the very cold water and couldn't feel too much. But then as I got progressively warmer, I noticed that my hand was killing me. It was really, really painful. And it started turning black and blue. As you can see in the photos, it just was horrible. So I went to the doctor, and they did an x-ray, and they said, oh, you just have a deep contusion, but there is nothing broken. So they said it'll take a couple of weeks to heal up, so no worries, you're good to go. Eventually it did heal, but then with a lot of pain in the knuckles still. And one day when I was playing a jazz chord where collapse the finger and get two strings and then the other two fingers, right? So I was practicing something. And this was a couple of months after the accident. And then all of a sudden the fingers started clicking. Like I would close it and it would click, and I would open it and it would click. And I would be like, oh, I think this is trigger finger. It actually came from the accident. So it wasn't as a result of, say, diet or anything like that, because I tried every supplement. I tried acupuncture. I tried different types of physical therapy. But at the end, the ortho specialist was like, yeah, this is damage from having fallen, and it's mechanical. So the only thing that's going to fix it is trigger finger surgery. Well, at the time I had a studio of like 40 to 50 guitar students I was teaching a week. And I needed to keep teaching. I didn't want to get the surgery. So that's from 2016 when the accident happened to September 2019 when I had the surgery for trigger finger. That's when I was trying all these different things. So in the end, I was talking to my ortho and I was telling him, hey, I'm moving to Bulgaria because I bought a house there and I could teach online. This was during COVID. So I'm going to go there and just, live a more peaceful life out in the countryside. So I bought a little house out there. I moved out there, but before going, my ortho said, don't get the surgery done there. Let's get it done before you go. So I got the surgery done and my hand seemed to be recuperating pretty well. And then one day I was playing with a friend and he said, hey, it looks like your third finger is collapsing, like when you play like the sixth string and the first string here. It looks like this finger is collapsing here. That's kind of a weakness in your hand. And I thought, well, that's weird. I've been, playing since I came out of my mother's womb. Why should I have weakness in my hand? And I didn't feel anything at the time. So it was in about 2023, I was playing. And all of a sudden, my third finger, now not my middle finger, the one that had the trigger finger surgery, that was fine. It never recovered 100%. I would say that it still felt kind of weak, and I still felt like I had, kind of a lingering something going on in that finger. But I could play okay. All of a sudden, I was playing one day, and it just buckled. It buckled at the joint here. And I was like, whoa. That's weird. What's happening here? Why is my finger buckling? It wasn't really much pain, but it was weird sensation. When it did buckle, yes, it was painful, but otherwise just walking around and using my hand in general, it wasn't painful. So I found an ortho in Bulgaria. I found the best hand specialist in all of Bulgaria. I went all the way to Sofia, which was like a 4-hour drive. And he says, oh, it looks like you have a trigger finger. And I was like, no, I don't have a trigger finger. That was my middle finger. I knew what that felt like. And this is something totally different. And he kept insisting, and he says, look, we can just do it and it'll be done in 10 minutes. And I left. I was like, this guy's a quack. I shudder to think what could have happened if I had had that done, because what I do have is, after having gone to specialists in Romania across the border as well and paying out of pocket and getting all kinds of tests done. So I had a guided ultrasound done with the camera so that they could see if there was any triggering. And he's like, no, you have no triggering going on there at all. So eventually I started having more pain. And one day I was looking down at my hand and I was like, well, that's weird. So I saw a little dip in my finger, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a flatness right here. And I thought, there's something going on here. My finger's buckling and I'm having more pain in my hand. So I ended up finding a doctor of neurodynamics at the University of Zaragoza in Spain. And I went and I saw her and her team, and they did a bunch of different tests. They also did ultrasounds, they did neurological tests. So it ends up being that I have nerve damage that has resulted in muscle atrophy. And muscle atrophy is irreversible. So what I need at this point, and now that I'm living in Spain, I moved from Bulgaria, and now I'll be able to eventually find a therapist that has been recommended to me and get 2 to 3 weeks of physical therapy. Now I'm also doing some of the exercises that they had me do. The TENS unit doesn't work well for me. That's a unit that gives an electromagnetic pulse. But that was bothering my body in other ways that I didn't like doing it. But other than that, I have some nerve gliding exercises that I do. I do this 20 times, 3 times every day, this exercise. So I do that also 20 times, 3 times. So I alternate that with this nerve gliding exercise. Then every other day, I do some strengthening exercises. I love these Bowding balls. They get my hand warm, and I just use them back and forth, and I can feel a little bit of clicking in my hand when I'm doing that. Eventually, sometimes the clicking will go away, but that's what I use to warm my hands up with. And there's different exercises you can do with these that I find to be very therapeutic and helpful. Every other day, I will do a short, I will hold it. And what the doctors told me that they want is to strengthen the supporting muscles, other supporting muscles in my hand, since the ones that are not working anymore, that have atrophied, that I need to strengthen the supporting muscles around. So I'll do this 12 times, and then take a break. And then I'll do it another 12 times, and I do that every other day. And then what I also do is an extensor, going in the opposite direction. I get a nice thick rubber band, and I'll do about 12 to 15 of these, also every other day. Sometimes every day. I think these are okay to do every day. But the hand needs to rest and recuperate in between every other day for the strengthening exercises. And that's what was told to me by the doctor. So I do those, but they're really, okay for maintenance, but it would be important for me to go to the actual therapist. What I need is a subcutaneous electromagnetic shock. They did it for me when I was there getting the tests. At the end, they gave me all of these suggestions of things to do. But one of the things they did as a therapy was to see how my body would react to it, was to put a very thin needle, almost like an acupuncture size needle, in my wrist. And then it was hooked up to a machine, and then it gave a pulse every 5 seconds, and it made my hand jump, and it felt really weird. So that was something to help stimulate the nerve, because nerves can regenerate, the muscle that is dead will not. So now that has given me some struggles, of course, in my guitar practice. My heart really loves the classical guitar, and someday maybe I'll give the whole story of that. If there's a day where my hand is in bad shape and I can't really play very well, to do a practice log, I may just give more of my story. But right now, I just want to say that I'm just, talking off the cuff. So you're, welcome to my brain. Some things I may say stupid, forgive me in advance. I'll do some editing. I will do some editing. So vulnerability only goes so far. I'm really jealous of these guys who they can get on here and they're, and they're old and scruffy and they have their beards and their baseball caps and, everybody's following them and they're so cool. Women, no, we have to put a little bit of makeup on. We have to fix our hair, look halfway decent because God forbid it's like, oh no, Phyllis Diller. So we don't want, I don't want to cheat you guys away. So vulnerability and authenticity will get you so far, especially if you're a woman. Side note. So I'll introduce a couple of my short scale guitars that have helped me in my journey. That's one thing, that if you have a hand issue, it does prevent me from being able to reach some. In my repertoire, I'm studying some things that sometimes I just can't reach because of the pain and the lack of flexibility and strength, especially in extensions. So big extensions where I have to extend and press, that can cause lots of problems and pinching and things going on in my hand. So short scale guitar, 630 scale. I love this guitar. It's my main guitar. It's an imperial guitar commissioned by Virginia Luque, who I study with, because I also play, without nails. I'm a no-nail flesh player. There's if you're interested in listening to no-nail guitarists, there's a playlist made by Brandon Acker that I'll put into the description box below, and have a listen. You don't have to worry about breaking your nails. This is another acquisition to help in my short scale adventure. It's a 610 scale. We interrupt this program to announce that we just had an electricity cut. So all of the audio that I was recording into Logic has been lost. And we're just using the audio from my phone here. So I will try and import this into Logic and make it sound a little bit better. But as I was saying, I was talking about, being authentic as I can. And I think that's what I was saying. I don't remember, it was about 10 minutes ago now. I love the classical guitar. I love it so much. To me, it just speaks to the heart. I love the challenge of it. I love the technical aspect of it, of just trying to get things just right. And playing with no nails, I really prefer the sound, but it takes a lot more effort to get a very good tone. So who knows? You may enjoy watching my journey here on the channel, or you may just think, you're not going to be impressed by my playing. I'm just saying that in general. So if you do want to check out my other channel where I give tutorials on more pop rock stuff, you can check that out. But as far as being a classical guitarist goes, it takes a lot more technique, and it takes a lot more effort to become a good guitarist. I also just wanted to show you one more thing that I do with my hands sometimes when it's bothering me, is I use K-tape. And check out the tutorials on YouTube from real therapists. I'm just showing what works for me and what makes my hand feel better. So I just take slight pieces about that big and that wide, and I take one anchor on my hand. I'll show you when I'm done. I take one anchor and I just place it. So no pulling. Yeah, I just place it. And then I'm gonna create like a seatbelt around my finger. As it goes through my finger, between my middle finger and my ring finger, there's a slight pull, and then I get to the end, and I only go down about that far. So like that. And then I do one on the other side. So I create an anchor point right about there on the same one. And this is the side that has more of the weak muscle part. So as I go around that one, a slight pull, maybe 50%. And I go around and I just lay it. And then with no pressure, just right here like that. So this is my green one, easy for you to see. If I make videos, I probably use the more flesh colored one. But I don't know, I like this one too, it's kind of fun. If you're gonna be, you know, if you're gonna have a problem hand, have a problem hand. I know it feels nice. It feels nice, it gives a little bit of stability. And it also reminds me not to try to do crazy things with my hand. It's like, oh, hey, remember, if you make this move, you know, it's gonna really hurt. So just take it a little bit easy. So my playing in general is much more slow. I do a lot of very slow practice. And I do a lot of warm-ups that are just very slow, slow stretches. I like to stretch the fingers to see how far can I push it today? How far can I go today with my hand? What's it gonna do? What am I working with today? So anyway, my practice journal, my online YouTube practice journal will be about this journey. And if you want to join me with it, but it's mainly for me to give myself feedback. So welcome to my channel. It's called Handicapo Heresies, and Handicapo because, you know, it's a little play on words. Capo, handicap, handicapo. Maybe it's kind of goofy, but heresies because short scale guitars, no nails, workaround techniques. So yeah, I'm just one big walking classical guitar heresy. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Maybe at the end of this video, if my hand's feeling a little bit better, I'll do some warm-ups or something for today's log 1. See you next time. But this is the portion of my practice for today, which is not going to be very extensive because my hand is bothering me. So it's winter, you know, when it's winter, it's colder and then the nerves hurt more and it's just not fun. So the first stretch is the spider. A lot of people know this one, and why I like to start with this one is because it tells me what's happening in this part of my hand today. So I just do this very slowly at the 5th fret and feel what I feel. If there's any pain, popping, clicking. I go all the way down to the 1st fret. Then I go back to the 5th fret. And I do the rest of the exercise. Making mistakes because the stretch, it was hard. It felt hard to get that stretch. Now I'll go to 6th fret. It feels weak, but that's okay. Just keep going. Glitches. Little buzzy glitches. They suck. They suck the life out of every classical guitarist. I could have gotten a little bit further close to the fret, but that's okay. So after this, then I like to do this one, which is also another stretch. So that previous one was from Scott Tennant's Pumping Nylon. So some great stretching exercises in there. Some of them I'm not going to be doing because I know which ones work well for me and which ones don't. I like this next one. It's the O'Dare stretch, also from Scott Tennant's book. I do it on each string twice. Each note as long as I possibly can. that one once. Don't want to overdo things, right? You don't want to overdo things, especially when you're a Handicapo Heresy like me. Okay, then I like to do octaves. Almost like we're going D, but I'm not going to go all the way up. Separate, sometimes together. Miss, miss. That's where my hand gets tired. And I'm not sure if it's gonna pop on me here. Felt okay. A little tight. But there was no popping or collapsing. So it's pretty much all I'm gonna do today. I just touch the strings, touch the guitar, stay in contact with it, try to get a decent sound, and try to just keep my fingers moving as flexibly as they can. More tomorrow, day 2. Today was day 1. Off we go. There's 364 more days to go. I'll make it. Until tomorrow.